just picked up the racket. Guy was super nice. We're gonna throw in some NXT. I've never done black NXT before, so that's gonna be nice. I mean, come on. You can't go wrong with that. We'll be returning back here tomorrow. So we started to offer door-to-door pickup and delivery service. I can't tell you how many of those rackets have been a pure arrow with Luxilon strings. And so I'm thinking to myself, how haven't I tried this string yet? I mean, there must be something to it. The good people over at Wilson reached out and they sent out a whole box of strings. They didn't even say I had to review it. They just said, hey, you know, I see you're testing strings and just have fun with it. So the video is not sponsored by Wilson or Luxilon or anything like that. So some of the talk around ALU Power, the biggest thing you hear is it only lasts 2 hours. It only lasts 30 minutes. It only lasts 2 matches. If it dies so quickly, how come so many people use it? My go-to string is Tour Bite Soft 18 gauge. And that sits at 172 in the string stiffness tool. From what I could see, a lot of the Luxilon strings are kind of around the 200s, hovering just over 200, but they didn't have 18 gauge listed. So I have a feeling it is just a little bit under 200. And I strung this up at 45 pounds. So I'm used to 18 gauge strings, but this one stretched, I mean, just for days. It just seemed to just keep stretching when you're pulling tension. I was like, man, I'm so excited to try this one because I think this might be a string that I like. First impressions, the first thing I felt is the sweet spot is huge. Probably the biggest sweet spot I've ever felt in a string. Like no matter where you hit in the bed, it gave you good power, right? Because a lot of other strings, you know, when you start hitting off center, I mean, you see it barely goes over, or it just, you hear it. I mean, you see me, I shank and I hit off center all the time, almost every ball. It felt like I was hitting clean with this string. And that was a relief because I had a long summer season of the USTA leagues. I put it this way, my arm, my body needed a little break, you know, coming after that sort of long summer season. The next thing that comes to mind is comfort. I mean, ALU Power in 18 gauge has some serious comfort. And if you've only tried ALU Power in like 16 gauge or something like that, I highly recommend trying it in 18 gauge, trying it in a thinner gauge, because you're gonna find more comfort there. For me, coming off that long season, the comfort wasn't an issue at all, you know? I never once with the string felt like, oh man, I gotta like kind of, you know, clean it up and take it easy. Coming to control, the biggest thing I noticed on control was the cross-court forehands, those little flickers, and just the ability to kind of like bat the ball. Usually don't go for the angled shots, but like with this string, I felt like I could go for those angled shots and not hit back down the middle. Yes, I mean 18 gauge can also get out of control with the power and just kind of out of control with spin and things like that. But like when you find that balance, it's just awesome. Like, okay, comparison to Confidential. Confidential 18 gauge does have more control than this. But it's also a stiffer string, and it's more of that control string, where this is ALU Power. This is more of a power string. I thought it had more control than Tour Bite Soft 18. You know, Tour Bite Soft 18, it can get away from you, right? And this string could get away from you too, especially 18 gauge at 45 pounds. I mean, what do you expect, you know? But that's what I like to play on. And you know, I thought this had the control to bring it back in, and it was more control than my normal setup that I was used to, so. All right, just got to the pickup location, and let's go pick up some rackets. The next thing, launch angle. Now, I know launch angle doesn't sound like the coolest thing or sound like it really matters that much, but launch angle actually does matter quite a bit. The launch angle was perfect. It was lower, a lot lower than other strings, than Hyper G, than Tour Bite Soft. You know, I have super loopy strokes. It was a very welcome change to have a lower launch angle string, because the strings I'm used to playing have a really high launch angle. But this was nice. I actually felt like I could sort of hit more controlled and hit flatter, or hit more of a flat shape ball. I struggle with getting that court penetration and this sort of being able to finish out the point, put it away. But a lower launch angle string like this can help you with that. You know, the speed of the ball isn't wasted as much on the up and the down, right? It's just kind of flattening out. Feel like you have more control over the point, over like finishing the point. Whereas maybe higher launch angle string that I'm used to, you can just keep going and going and going and going. The ball's probably gonna go back in, but it's harder to finish stuff out. The power is big, the name is Luxilon ALU Power, so it is a powerful string. I felt it the most on serves when I just started to pop flat serves, and you guys know I never hit flat serves. I just never do it. I just want to keep the ball in. You know, I just want to arc it into the box, especially in matches. But I just started to pop off flat serves, and you know, and I was able to hit some aces. I was able to get stuff by my opponent, and it was fun. You know, and with that big sweet spot, and you could hit off center, you could just like crack them, you know, and not worry about where you're hitting it on the bed, and you're still getting good power from it. So you can kind of see how the sweet spot, how the power, it all kind of works together in this string. Let's talk about feel. So compared to Tour Bite Soft 18, Tour Bite Soft has more of a specific kind of ball pocketing feel, where, you know, with this bigger sweet spot, you know, you don't have as specific a feel. You don't quite know where the ball exactly is on the bed, but it didn't matter as much on the string. This was definitely a lively setup in 18 gauge and at 45 pounds. This isn't like a confidential, this isn't a tour bite. I kind of grouped the string in the sort of tour bite confidential sort of category before I tried it. Just because I was thinking pro level string, you know, like it's gonna have to be super stiff. And I was wrong. The Tour Bite Original is definitely crisper. Tour Bite is sharper. Poly Tour Pro is more springy and more sort of like slinky feeling, a little more plasticky feeling. For a full bed poly, this 18 gauge, I mean, it did have a pillowy feel. It never was harsh. You know, and I didn't focus as much on like the specific feel of it because I was just swinging away, bashing away, you know, and not worrying about an off-center hit. As far as like the playability duration of the string that everybody was talking about, I'm used to playing with 18 gauge strings and softer polys and stuff like that. So I'm kind of used to that fall off in performance. I had to adjust, you know, and I think people need to learn a little bit how to adjust, you know, their strokes a little bit over the life of a string. It's just how it is, you know? I mean, unless you're a pro and you only use the racket for 5 games, right? As far as duration, and I actually ended up cutting the string out. It never snapped on me. I wanna say I played about 10 hours. I think that's about the quickest that I've snapped a string is about 6 hours on 18 gauge. So I got about 10 out of this, and then I cut it out. I mean, if you can stomach the extra cost, you know, I think it's worth it to give it a try and just enjoy. I just really focused on just playing good tennis and having good fun out there while I was using the string. And I wasn't so focused on like what the launch angle is going to be or like what, you know, like hitting perfectly clean, you know, because this string allowed me to do that. And after a full season of just playing singles and just like practicing so much, this string gave me a ton of comfort and it was just a ton of fun.
That's why.
Low fuel, get the low fuel warning there.
So yeah, just running all around town late at night. Just dropped off a few rackets for a customer, and it's cold, it's dark. I think that's what tennis players deserve, you know? So you guys have a great night. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.